All right, welcome back to another episode of Community Coffee Time. Awesome. And today we have Anthony Verducci of Wayfinder.
Hi,
Welcome.
everyone. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And like I've told you, we are live on Facebook. So if I'm looking down, and for watchers too, I'm just checking the delay and if we have anyone watching us live. And if you guys catch us
Awesome.
later, please feel free to leave comments or questions. We'll be happy to go back and look and answer anything that the community is wondering.
Awesome.
Awesome. And so it's community coffee time. Today I have Starbucks.
Ooh,
I've got a white chocolate mocha today because it's cold and I'm treating myself.
I like it. Man, white chocolate is so good. Such a
So
treat.
good. I
Yeah.
know. Can't drink that every day, but it's good.
Oh yeah. I've got let's see, just standard drip coffee. It's just my go-to. I have it every day. I probably have way too much every day, but big coffee fan over here. So
I feel you. I think I've made it where I can limit my coffee to like a cup a day, but then I drink like tea the rest of the day. So
wow, good.
still very caffeinated.
I like it. I like it.
My clients would like be like, oh yeah, because I'm always like on telehealth with my tea.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Yeah, especially today when it's so cold and so gloomy. This is my go-to. Keep it on my face, nice and warm.
It's a beautiful mug.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. We buy all of our ceramics from this artist who is in like Bend or Central Oregon area. So we try and support him, and he makes really beautiful work. So
Cool. If you share
yeah.
that with me later, I'll put it like in our show notes later.
Yeah,
Like
awesome. I
people
will.
can edit. That'd be cool. Yay. All
Yeah.
right. So before I get too distracted with coffee, we're going to dive into Wayfinder, which is an online directory for local disability healthcare providers that you've created. And I'm so excited to talk to you about it today and about your work and really how you're helping and connecting the community.
Yeah, great. I'm really excited to dive in.
Awesome. So to start, would you mind giving us a short introduction of yourself?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Anthony. I am based here in Denver. I went to a small school on the eastern side of Washington State called Gonzaga University. If you're a basketball fan, you probably heard of us. Um, when I was in college, I was going down the traditional like pre-med doctor route, and I discovered a program on our campus called Gonzaga University Specialized Recreation. We called it GUSR for short, and essentially we brought folks from the community who had disabilities, who were living in group homes or with their families. They would come to campus twice a week, and we would run adaptive recreation programs. So on Thursday nights, we would practice for a play that we would be putting on at the end of the semester. And on Saturday mornings, we'd play basketball or go bowling, and ultimately compete in a Special Olympics tournament at the end of the season. And discovering that program, I like found my niche. I found my community. I think in college I was trying to figure out, who I was and who I wanted to be. And I tried sports and all these other programs. And I think GUSR was just my community. I was laughing. Everyone left their judgments at the door, and it just felt very home to me. So ultimately, that inspired me to switch my major and study special education. And I went down the path of, working for a number of different nonprofits like Special Olympics and the ARC and doing caregiving work and all these sorts of things. And so that was my introduction to working with the disability community. And in that, I started to notice, a lot of different challenges, particularly within the healthcare realm, in terms of access and finding quality care. So, anyways, that's a long-winded answer to your question.
No, that's awesome. And it kind of leads right into then my next question of like what is Wayfinder? We said it's an online directory. but we can
Hmm.
start kind of diving deeper into it. And how did it come about? And you're just kind of saying you started seeing kind of a need for an online directory.
Yeah. Yeah. So Wayfinder essentially makes it really easy for Coloradans with disabilities and their families to find high quality and affordable healthcare services. And the way we do that, as you mentioned, it's essentially for care seekers, it's a directory. So people can come on our website, they can enter in their insurance information, they can enter their location or their age, and the type of provider they're looking for. And we show them relevant results or providers in their area who might be able to help. And if folks want to learn more, they can click on a provider's individual page, and see some photos, see their bio, and get in contact to learn more. So that's essentially how it functions for care seekers. The idea for Wayfinder came about when I was a caregiver. A few years back, I was working with the ARC up in Washington, and I was tasked with coordinating care for two of my clients. And I was surprised by two things in that process. The first was how hard it was to find providers. Like, there are a number of websites and resources if you want to find like a general practice doctor, or an orthopedic surgeon, but there was really nothing for my clients who had behavioral challenges, and needed various therapies that were all specialized to their disability. And so that was kind of the first barrier that I experienced. I probably spent way too much time in the depths of Google looking for providers, and there's kind of no one centralized resource for it.
Right.
Um, and the second thing I was really surprised by was the lack of really good information available online. Um, I the ARC trained all their caregivers. I went through maybe 30 hours of training, and that training can never prepare you for everything you experience, whether you have a child with a disability or you're working as a caregiver. So certain scenarios would come up, and I would hop on Google and be like, "Oh, I have no idea what to do. Like, when this behavior presents itself, or in this situation, what do I do?" And I was overwhelmed by how much information was online about disabilities, and also how unreliable it was. I was taken to a number of like chat forums, essentially, where parents were offering medical advice, and they were not like licensed practitioners to give that advice. And so that was a little worry for me. Anyways, those two things together essentially inspired me to create Wayfinder, to make it really easy for people to find the care that they need, and also to find reliable, medically vetted information.
Right. Yeah. That's such a good point. I was, thinking of and having that caregiver experience of it too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my cat, hi Queenie. Come say hi.
Hey, welcome, Queenie.
Welcome, welcome. She's screaming at me.
I was hoping we'd get a Queenie cameo today.
Oh yeah.
This
She's
is
like,
great.
we haven't done one of these in a while. Community
Yeah.
coffee time.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
But yeah, just having that caregiver perspective, because I've I haven't been a caregiver, so I
Mm-hmm.
haven't thought about that. Like, oh yeah, it would be like really hard, like because there isn't one place to
Right.
look. You have to kind of start like word of mouth, like talking to people, but it's a huge kind of research experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it obviously feels very personal to me because I experienced the problem. But I also spent the last year reaching out to other families to see if other folks were having this problem as well. And I learned, I spoke with probably 50 to 60 families, and a good majority of them mentioned that one or more of the spouses in the relationship would actually kind of go down to half time at work or leave their job completely just to focus on coordinating care for their children, because there are
Wow.
so many pieces to it, the insurance part of it, and waivers, and finding providers, and there's just so many moving things, and it takes up a ton of time. And so it's my hope that Wayfinder can actually save some families time, doing the research. I'm really excited. We're rolling out a feature in the next couple weeks here, um, where we are essentially vetting providers for families, on a certain criteria, like do they have, are there any like outstanding legal cases against them, like, or malpractice or fraud? Do they have really good reviews online? Like what kind of rating their COVID precautions and those types of things. And for providers who meet the standard, we assign them a verified badge. And so that way families know, oh, okay, I can really trust this provider to give really high quality care. So I'm hoping that Wayfinder can kind of take some of the burden off of families for conducting all that research, and trying to see, who fits within their insurance and who doesn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I have one just like one location to do it. So when they're trying to find different services,
Exactly.
they don't have to be like, okay, new Google search for this kind of service.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I mean, if you're like me, sometimes I hop on Google and I go in deep, and it's like I look at the clock and it's been 3 hours since I started. Um, I had a medical procedure done last year. I had a knee injury, and even looking for my own provider, that took me a solid 2 or 3 days before I could find someone. So, yeah, it's my hope that this resource can save some families time so they can get back to doing what they really enjoy doing.
Awesome. That's such an awesome vision, Anthony. I love that so much, and I'm excited to see it continue to grow. Just kind of my own curiosity. It's clear how like Wayfinder came to be, but I guess more in kind of like the short term. Like, when
Mhm.
did you decide to make that? Like, when did it become really clear to you? Like, oh, I should make an online directory. And when did you kind of start that?
Yeah, great question. It was not clear for a really long time. So I started thinking about this about last February of 2020. And the original vision for the product was a, a telehealth clinic for providers who specify in disability services. So my thought was, if you have a child with disabilities or child with autism, and you need to speak with a behavior therapist, we would connect you via telehealth, so you could chat. Um, I spoke with a number of providers and families, and there was some initial excitement about it, but I think there's just a number of problems. Like, a lot of families at the time were also going into lockdown, and they're like, we already missed the in-person element. Like, telehealth is just not the same. Um, and that's like certainly valuable for a lot of folks, but for some of the more hands-on therapies like behavior therapy or occupational therapy, um, telehealth wasn't, um, it was tough for that one-on-one interaction. And so, um, I probably spent 5 or 6 months working towards that vision, and I realized, all right, maybe this is not the route that we need to go. Maybe we need to start really small. And at that time, I had spoken with a number of providers, and I had been writing down all of their contact information and who they were serving and where they were operating out of. And I decided to just basically publish that spreadsheet to see if it would be helpful for other families. Um, and I wasn't expecting a whole lot when I published that on a few Facebook groups, but a number of families were like, wow, this is an amazing resource. Like, we've just felt so overwhelmed by the number of providers. We don't know who to trust. And so when I got that response, I decided, oh, maybe there's a little something here. So I started developing, a bigger or more complex website. I started adding more data into it, and that was kind of the genesis of Wayfinder as it stands today.
Right. Oh, that's so interesting. And you were just like, you almost made it by accident because you were you were looking on this other thing and had a list, and then we're like, oh, I made a resource like in this process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, we're still learning. That was when I published that. That was in late December. I think that was the day after Christmas that I published that. And I mean, so much has changed since then. And I think a lot will continue to change, but yeah, I'm really excited about the direction that we're headed.
Yeah. So are your visions for Wayfinder like Denver local, Colorado local, or do you see it getting bigger? What's kind of the path for that?
Yeah, I think right now I'm hyper focused on Colorado. I love this state so much. I've lived here for a few years now, um, and I think there are so many providers here in Colorado, and so far I just have a small sliver of them on our platform. So it's my goal to continue just refining the product. We're in like version 0.1 right now, so I still have a lot to figure out, and a lot of providers here to get on the platform and to serve. But once we reach a good point, and I feel like the product is picking up more traction, more folks are using it. I would love to expand to other states. Even a number of the providers that are on the platform right now have offices in Arizona and in California, and they've expressed interest in bringing it to those states. So
Right.
once I can work out some of the kinks, I'd love to expand to some of those other states, because I think the problem is being felt in a lot of other areas as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I feel like once you feel very comfortable like with Colorado in the process,
Hmm.
it would be easier at that point to kind of like apply it to other states
Right.
because you'll
Yep.
have that foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Very cool. Yeah, and this is I feel like this is an exciting episode of Community Coffee Time. They're all exciting, but a
Sure.
lot of times, I'm very family focused, making sure we can get resources to families. But this is
Mhm.
such a good episode for providers too, because it's like, hey guys, sign up.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the other half of this business that I haven't really touched on quite yet. But I mean, obviously, we want to make the experience of finding care and booking care really great for families. But on the flip side of the coin, if you're a provider, whether you're just one person like yourself, working out of home right now, or if you're a group and you have multiple locations around Colorado, like our goal is to help providers get their name out there and expand their reach online, and get more referrals and make more connections within the provider community. So, yeah, whether you're a provider or a family, like I would just love to hear some feedback, and how we can improve, yeah, and help providers get more patients, help patients get better care. So,
Yeah, did you want to speak more on the provider community?
sure. Yeah, this is it's still it's still very very small right now, but providers who sign up can join a private community. Um, I think, yeah, in the future we'll be hosting events. So if you're interested in learning more about finance, we've partnered with a CPA who will be coming on to answer questions, and to run workshops. Also, if you're interested in creating more diverse and equitable workplaces, we've partnered with someone who does diversity, equity, and inclusion workshops, and so they'll be doing the same. Yeah, so kind of the thought behind the community is just to build connections, and make strong, like a lot of folks we've been hearing from, have mentioned that they want to connect with other providers, but they don't really know how to. And maybe Facebook's not always the best platform to do that. So, um, yeah, our goal is to just create kind of a more intentional community of providers as well. So yeah, that's one of the other features that we've got for providers.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be one of the early members. So I'm liking it a
Yeah.
lot so far and excited for future events. And it's been cool. Um, I think it's okay to say Emily and I actually, both community members, have connected recently. So
Oh, fantastic. That's
yeah.
great. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, she's been wonderful to work with as well.
Oh yeah, and I think we saw each other on Instagram too. I might have
Mhm.
maybe I followed her after seeing her in the community. I can't even
Yeah.
remember, but it's just little connections like that because we really connected, and it's like we might not have met otherwise, or
Mhm.
it might have taken longer. It's just nice with that intentional focus because it's like you can meet up with those people,
Mhm.
and network a little more in one spot, kind of like how families can look for things in one spot. It gives providers a chance to kind of network a little more intentionally. Because there are a lot of great networking opportunities in our community. You just
Hmm.
kind of have to find them. You
Right, right.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then with COVID, that they've been limited to since then, and I think they're going to start popping up a lot more, which is nice. But
yeah,
like, if you don't know about them, you don't know about them, and then like this community could be a spot to even share those kind of events too. Like,
yeah.
hey, so and so is hosting a networking event here,
Hmm.
and to even spread that information a little more clearly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And for context for the audience, Emily provides like mental health services for parents of children with disabilities, or for kiddos themselves. And so that's so cool to hear that there's, a music therapist is connecting with a mental health therapist, and we're all, the way I see it, like we're all working kind of towards a shared mission to support this community. And so it's so cool to hear that you guys have connected.
Yeah,
It's really wonderful.
yeah, definitely. It's just really nice, and just I'm excited to continue meeting people in the community too.
Good. Yeah, wonderful.
Awesome. So I think we're kind of wrapping up a little bit, although we're definitely going to dive into Wayfinder. I got it ready to screen share,
Oh, great.
so we can kind of share that for people. Before that, though, is there anything else you want to share, and how can people find Wayfinder or learn
Yeah.
more about it?
I would say two things. If you are a person with disabilities, or a parent raising a child with disabilities, you can come to our site. It's joinwayfinder.com, and check out the directory. Like, look around, let us know what you think. I'd love your feedback. Um, and then if you are a provider, same thing. Head on over to our website and um, click on our providers page, and it's free to get started and create a basic listing. Love to work with you and extend your reach online. So otherwise, yeah, I mean, check us out on social media as well. That would be wonderful. But I think the best way to engage is probably through our website, or by reaching out to me directly. My email's on there.
Awesome. Let's check it out.
Cool.
Oh, there's me.
Yes. Front page.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah, this is Wayfinder. Join Wayfinder. There's Emily.
There you go. Yeah.
Joinwayfinder.com, and you can find a provider for free.
Hmm.
Instructions. Okay, this is what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. So we're rolling this out. I'm actually getting ready to publish our biggest update since we've launched, probably in the next day or two. So this may, if you're watching this a few days after the recording, and you head to our website, it may look a little bit
Totally
different.
different.
But yeah, that being said, this kind of verification feature will remain the same, and we'll continue to improve that as we go.
Awesome. Very
Yep.
cool.
Just this is a quick sampling of some of the insurance providers that you can filter by. I think right now we have close to 60 or 70 insurance providers that you can sort by.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And up here's where you kind of get to the search engine,
Hmm.
which has been so cool.
Yeah. So on the right side there, you've got all the providers, and some of the services that they offer, as well as their addresses. Um, and then on the left, that's how you can kind of get more specific. So you can, in the search bar, you can really search for a provider's name or location, or you've got your services and your locations and insurance drop downs on the left there as well.
Very awesome. Awesome. And then you have the list your practice for providers.
Yes.
So they can go here and start sending their information.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks for showcasing this.
Yeah, of course. All right, so everybody go to joinwayfinder.com.
Thank you for the plug. That's awesome.
Of course. I think sometimes, even adding a visual can help because people are like, okay, I know what I'm going to go look at. Oh, it's really friendly and easy to navigate on.
Hmm.
And they can, especially if they see a video like this, they can just go click really quick,
Right.
even save a little more time. Not that your website's hard to navigate at all. So. But now they're like, oh, okay, I know I click that button, I can search speech therapy, it's going to
Right.
pop up.
Right. Yep. Amazing.
Yeah, very cool,
Yeah.
Anthony.
Thank you so much. This has been so wonderful. And like, please keep doing these. I will continue to tune in. I've really loved hearing from other folks in the community. Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for coming on. And we'll put all the links and stuff in the description afterwards. And I'll post this on YouTube, Instagram, just kind of everywhere. So we'll start sharing it
Awesome.
and in Facebook groups and make sure we can spread the news.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. I hope you have a great day. And thanks everyone to watching too.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye.